Are you thinking about using Slack, but you're a little worried about putting all of your communications on another company's server? If so, Rocket.Chat might be for you. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jacob Kaufman with Nerd on the Street, and today we are taking a look at Rocket.Chat. Now before I talk about what Rocket.Chat is, if you haven't heard of it, I'll say it's basically similar to Slack. Now most of you out there should be familiar with Slack, but a lot of my friends are not familiar with Slack for some reason. So Slack is a messaging system. It's a group messaging system made for companies to use. It's used by creative groups such as a little company called Rooster Teeth. And it's also used by a lot of programming companies, especially startups. Slack is very popular in the startup space. So basically how Slack works is you get a Slack server, and within that server you can have different rooms. You can name the rooms whatever you want. You can have rooms open for anyone on your server to join, or you can have private rooms that are invite only. And then you can also direct message people on Slack as well. Now the major problem with Slack is that it is proprietary and it's hosted by another company, that company being Slack. So all of the messages that you're sending are on Slack's servers. Even though you've got your own Slack server, it's similar to a Discord server where that server is hosted by somebody else. There is no self-hosting option with Slack. So there are a few different open source chat solutions out there that fulfill the need of Slack. One of those solutions is Rocket.Chat, and the reason why I'm talking about Rocket.Chat today rather than one of the other solutions out there such as Mattermost is because Rocket.Chat is the system Nerd on the Street has been using for 2 years now. It's been just about 2 years since Nerd on the Street set our Rocket.Chat server up. And I set the server up about 6 months before I went off to college because I knew that everyone who used to be in the same place physically and we could always talk to each other at school were now going to be separated, but I still wanted to have a way to reach people about Nerd on the Street stuff. So I set up a Rocket.Chat server. We've been using it since then, and it's been working really well. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. So like I said, Rocket.Chat is a group chat solution, and with Rocket.Chat, you actually download the server yourself onto your own server. It can be an on-premise server, such as a spare computer in your bedroom, all the way up to a professional rack mount server at your business. Or you can put Rocket.Chat on a virtual private server, such as a DigitalOcean Droplet or a Linode server. As of right now, Nerd on the Street's Rocket.Chat server is running on a Linode. We had it on DigitalOcean for a while. I actually made a video about switching it from DigitalOcean to Linode a while back. And eventually when Nerd on the Street has its own space again, then I will be hosting it on premises. But for now, it's working just fine up on Linode because I don't have a physical server right now. And like I said, with Rocket.Chat, it's very similar to Slack. You can have all kinds of different chat rooms within your server, and you can organize those chat rooms however you want. Here at Nerd on the Street, we basically have one room per project that we're doing. You can have public rooms that everyone in your server can join. You can have private rooms that are invite only. You have to be let into the room by somebody else who's already in there. And you can also direct message specific people. Here at Nerd on the Street, we had all of our rooms public for about a year. And then a little while ago, I actually switched. It was probably about a year and a half all of our rooms were public. And then about 6 months ago, I switched all of our rooms to private rooms except for our general room. Just because I was letting more and more people on the server, and I figured it would probably be a good idea to have some kind of security in place so everybody couldn't see everything that I'm working on. But I have gotten very familiar with Rocket.Chat, as has everyone else here at Nerd on the Street. There are 14 active user accounts on the Nerd on the Street Rocket.Chat server right now. That's how many people I have let into my personal Rocket.Chat server to talk to me about video projects. And it looks like there are 30 channels right now in the Nerd on the Street Rocket.Chat server that were either previous or current Nerd on the Street productions we talked about in that server. Rocket.Chat was a huge step up from what Nerd on the Street used to do. I used to just individually message people. I would Telegram, those of them I could get to use Telegram, and then the ones who didn't use Telegram, I would either Facebook message or SMS text. And I would have to basically be a central relay for all the information going around Nerd on the Street. I would have to ask this person what times work for them. They would come back to me and tell me. I would have to give another person whatever they told me for the options that work for them. And anytime I tried to schedule anything, it was a big nightmare. Every time I tried to basically coordinate anything, it was just a lot of work for me. So the Rocket.Chat server has done a great job making it so that people can see what each other are saying in addition to just speaking to me about things. Now, I still find myself using the Rocket.Chat server more than anyone else here at Nerd on the Street. Just because of the nature of how things work at Nerd on the Street, I generally am a little more into everything we're doing than most of the other people here. But the point is, lots of people here at Nerd on the Street have been using Rocket.Chat. I have used it a whole lot. I've been using it for a while now. I've seen it get updated a whole lot, and I figured that a lot of you might like it as well. If you've got a company or just an organization and you'd like to have some group chatting going on, if this sounds like some sort of structured chat room server might be something that's helpful to you, Rocket.Chat or another program like it is definitely the way to go. It's a lot better than using something like Slack, because with Rocket.Chat, you're hosting the server yourself. It's open source, so you know what's running on your server, and it is your server. So if you choose to host it on premises, you can be physically in control of your messages. So without further ado, I'm just going to run through some Rocket.Chat functionality. I'm not going to be going through every single little feature that we've used here at Nerd on the Street, but I'm going to be running through just what the program looks like and how to use it. If you have any questions about this, my Rocket.Chat server is private, so you can't actually join that, but you can talk to me over at nerdonthestreet.com. Sign up there and ask in the forums if you have any questions at all about Rocket.Chat deployment or usage. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. So without further ado, let's cut to the desktop. All right, and here we are on the desktop, so I'll just go ahead and open up Rocket.Chat. And I've got two shortcuts here, that's just my system, but here we have Rocket.Chat. And the first thing I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to create a new chat room, because most of the rooms in this Rocket.Chat channel are private. This Rocket.Chat is for Nerd on the Street, so of course we're talking about videos and stuff that we're making, so I probably had to censor out what was on the screen just a moment ago. But I clicked the new channel button here, and you can see here what the new channel interface looks like. You can select if you want the channel to be private or public, and the difference between those is right here. At the top we've got a general and an off-topic channel. These are public channels. Anyone in my Rocket.Chat server can access these two channels, but the rest of our channels are private, which means only the people that I invite to the channel, or that other people within the channels invite, depending on the permissions, are able to get in those. You can also select if you want the channel to be read-only or not. Normally I only make a channel read-only when I'm finished with it, but you can also use that functionality to make sort of an announcement room if you want to be able to talk in a channel just for other people to read, but you don't want them to be able to respond in that channel. But we'll go ahead and make it so that all users can write new messages, and that we'll go ahead and make this one public so everyone in my Rocket.Chat server can join this. I don't think anyone else is going to be logging in while I'm recording this video. The channel name we're going to make tutorial. This isn't really a tutorial, but we'll call it tutorial. And then we can invite users. So if I click here and just start typing, I can start typing my sister's name, and it will autocomplete Kirsten's username there. I can also type Adam, and you can see it brings up @HeatedWonder because I've got Adam's name in there connected to the Heated Wonder account. That's part of his profile. I can also just type Heated Wonder, so you can type either names or usernames, whichever one you're displaying. You can select that in the settings so that it displays whichever one you want, but searching and mentioning will always work with either. We'll go ahead and invite Adam to this channel just to mess with him, and we'll also invite Kirsten to this channel, and that's it. Nobody else is going to be in here but me, really. So we'll go ahead and click Create. And here we have a new channel. So that's what the channels look like, and you can click between any of these to switch between them. Here's one that I know is empty, Knots Vlogs. That was a project that I almost started, and then when Stephanie left Nerd on the Street, then I was like, alright, maybe I'll wait a few weeks. So as you can see right now in the Knots Vlogs channel, I'm the only user in this channel. What's one that's safe? I think podcasts should be safe to show you. Alright, that's fairly safe. I can show you this. So this is what a populated channel looks like when it's got all kinds of messages in it. You can see we can scroll through here, and they've just got the timestamps up at the top, and then underneath the timestamps or underneath the dates, you've got the individual messages, which each have the specific time they were sent. These are what the messages look like. When you hover over them, you can react to messages. You've also got this little menu here that you can do different things to messages. Some of this stuff is configurable. You can turn deleting on and off. You can turn editing on and off. You can set time limits so that you can only edit within a certain amount of time. That's how I've got this server set up. And here in the members list on the side, you can see it shows online members by default. I'm the only one online in this room right now. You can also show all members, and now it shows that Adam is also part of this room, and we're the only two in here because we're the only two who were working on the podcast when this room was relevant. We'll go ahead and use the podcast room for the rest of going through all of these buttons on the side just to show what they are, just because this room is already populated with information. So the room info, you can see podcast there, topic, Knots Podcast / Friday Night Hangout. Description and topic do sort of the same thing. I always set the topic because the topic appears at the top here of the screen. Description, I just think is kind of redundant compared to topic, but sometimes I set them to be the same thing. This is an older room, so back when I added this room, there was actually no description field. You could only set the topic. That's why description is blank here. But yeah, we've got private is set to on, like I said. It's not read-only, it's not archived. Archiving is where even you can't post to it. Read-only, I think the person who made the room can still post. Like I said, so you can use it as an announcement room, but for archived, nobody can post to it. A good example of that would be Extra Life 2016, if we click here. This is an archived room. So as you can see, it says this room is read-only. Up here, if we go into room info, you can see it's not actually marked read-only, but it is marked archived. And because it's marked archived, it's read-only. So that's how that works. We'll go ahead and hide that Extra Life room there. And then we will join the podcast room again. There is a search box, so you can search here. Not sure what I would search, so we'll move on. Members list we already went through. You can turn on your notifications, or you can disable notifications for specific rooms. So I have this server set to where everyone gets notifications for all messages. The default, by default, is to only receive notifications when you are mentioned in a message, but I've actually changed this server's default so that people do get notifications even if they're not mentioned, both on desktop and on mobile. As you can see there, they are separate settings. We've got files in this room. You can see I've pasted a few different pictures in this room. So like these pictures that I pasted here, even though I pasted them inline and they showed up inline, they do appear in the files list. I can also click one here to open it up, and there's a picture of Adam's cat Rusty that he posted in here earlier. So we've also got a mentions button, and if you are mentioned anywhere, so see I mentioned Adam here, if he were to open up this mentions panel, then this message would appear in this panel because I mentioned him there. He's never mentioned me though, so I don't show up. No mentions found here. There's also starred messages. If I go ahead and let's say I want to star my own message, star that thing. Now if I open up starred messages, you can see it shows up under the list. I'll go ahead and now unstar it or remove the star, and the list's empty again. We've got pinned messages, does exactly the same thing, really, except, okay, well that also shows up there. Whoops. Didn't mean to actually do that, but alright, when you pin a message, it does show up as an actual activity. And also, I assume pinned messages are for everyone, whereas starred messages are private for you. We'll go ahead and unpin that as well. And does not appear. I can delete this. As you can see, the menu that I get for my own messages does not show up for these announcements. So that's interesting. There is a video chat button. This just opens up a Jitsi meeting. Oh, there you go. Well, it connected automatically and got my camera, and you can see my microphone right in front of me, and it's detecting the mic input, it's detecting my camera. But all that this does is it opens up a meet.jit.c link, and if we go to the view and invite members thing here, well, where is it at? Invite. So this is the link. It just does a meet.jit.c, which you can go to in your own browser. You don't need to go through Rocket.Chat for that. But then it just auto-generates a room name starting with Rocket.Chat and then a random string after it. So that is nice integration. I'll tell you, it works a whole lot better than before Rocket.Chat had Jitsi integration. Their old system didn't work at all, so Jitsi is definitely better than what they had before for calling. But yeah, that is just basically an iframe in here. I'd like it if it like expanded to fill the entire sidebar. You can see if I maximize the window, it does not get any bigger. So yeah. We can go ahead and close that, and whenever you do accidentally, even if you just hit that button, then it is going to pop up a notification here that says, hey, I started a video call, and you cannot delete that. So yeah, be careful not to click that button on accident. For now, though, I'm going to stop sending notifications to Adam through our podcast channel. We're going to go to the tutorial channel. So for the purposes of this video, I just want to show you what it looks like to use Rocket.Chat. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new Firefox window here, and we will go ahead and pin this Firefox window to the right side of our screen and go to chat.nerdonthestreet.com, and there is our chat room. So as you can see, if you go to chat.nerdonthestreet.com, you're not going to be able to register because new user registration is currently disabled because this is a private chat room for Nerd on the Street people, which the number has gone down recently, so it's getting kind of silly that I've got a chat room still. But if I go to my administration control panel here, I get all kinds of settings. You can see first off some information about my Rocket.Chat. I'm on version 59.3. This is the only program that I am using Ubuntu snaps for, so this does get auto-updated. I wish there was a way I could stop it from auto-updating and just log in myself and update it, because back when I updated this thing manually, I would update it once every couple weeks and I would actually read through the change logs. Now that it gets auto-updated, I don't have an opportunity to read through the change logs anymore, because it gets hard to keep track of what version I was on and what version I'm on now. But yeah, here's some basic information. You can see I'm running this on a Linux server, and that Linux server has been running for 84 days. So yeah, we can go to users here, and here's all the users we have in our chat room. I may actually blur out or block out the email column here just for people's privacy who are in the server, but we are going to go ahead and add a user just for this video. The user's name is going to be tutorial. We'll call it tutorial nerd. All right, and the username is going to be tutorial guy 98. All right, and then email address, we'll go ahead and use the trusty inbox at nerdonthestreet.com, and I don't want it to actually email me right now, so well, you know what, let's uncheck that. Let's leave it unverified. No, we'll verify it, so we don't have to click a verification button, but it is going to send me an email. Now I could, if I wanted to, I could set a default password right here. Instead, I'm going to make the default password random. I'm going to require a password change, and I'm going to go ahead and send a welcome email, and we'll see what that email looks like in a moment. Now we have roles here that we could add, although here we go. The user's role is a good one to add people to, so that they can join channels and things. You don't really have to add them to anything else, but you should generally, I think if you try and do it without a role, that even says, yeah, the field roles is required. So you have to at least assign it a default role, which is the user role is what you want there. We'll go ahead and click save. And now I'm going to bring Firefox off screen. I'm going to pull up my Nerd on the Street email here. All right, and I just got this email in my Nerd on the Street email running through fast mail, as you can see. It says, welcome to Nerd on the Street. Go here and try the best open source chat solution available. And it tells me my email address and my password here, and that is my default generated password. You may be required to change it after your first login. So we'll go over to Rocket.Chat, and even though it told me I could type in my email address here in the username field, I can also type my username, which is tutorial guy 98, and then I'll just paste in that password from the email. We'll click login. And you need to change your password, type your new password. All right, and I typed a password. Now we can see our default channels. So this is what things look like at this point. As you can see, since this is the brand new user, it was added to our default channels of general and off topic. And if I go ahead and search, I can see the tutorial channel. Now I'm not joined to that automatically because it's not a default channel, but I can just join, I can search and join that tutorial channel because it is a public channel that shows up under the list of public channels. Oh, and right now I'm even in preview mode, so I can click join. Now it shows up on my sidebar, and you can see that it says over here that I've joined the channel. Notice that if I try and search for Displaced 3 over here, nothing even shows up because that is a private group and I have not been invited to that. So that's how that works. And then here's all kinds of people that I could private message if I wanted to. I'll even private message myself. If I search Jacob, I can send myself a direct message, hello, and you can see, all right, making all kinds of noise. We'll go ahead, I'm going to mute, how do I want to do this? We'll go ahead and let's see what it looks like. Hi. All right, so that's what it sounds like on the native app, is that little ding there, which sounds also similar to the Facebook notification. So I don't know if that's a system thing or what, but as you can see, every time I'm messaging myself, it's incrementing this number over here by my direct messages. So I can click there, and here are all of my unread messages from Tutorial Guy. So I can send Tutorial Guy a message back that says, hey, how's it going? You can see when I start typing, it shows Jacob GKU is typing. When I stop typing, then it'll maybe think I'm still typing for a bit because there's still text in the box maybe. And then it stops eventually. But I can send that, it comes right back. If I go ahead and unmute this, what's that sound like over here? All right, so that's the same message, same notification sound. Not sure why I got that other notification sound before. So now we'll go ahead and go into the tutorial channel just to show it. It's actually pretty similar between direct messaging and tutorials. Hi yourself. And you can see how this is very productive already. We're getting things done very quickly here. I can go ahead and open up. I wonder what happens if I try, and I'll bet it won't actually let me really do this. Okay, so I can't actually start a video chat in a public channel, which is interesting. Well, let's see. Maybe I can. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So this is the old Rocket.Chat video chat system that they had before they integrated Jitsi. And we'll go ahead and... How crazy is that? It's actually working, which is nice because that didn't used to work. Okay. Mute. Testing? All right. So now you can see this guy over here, tutorial guy, can see the camera of JacobGKAU, and I can see the camera of tutorial guy, which I've actually got one camera here, and then I've got my laptop webcam here. So that's actually really interesting that that's working. Wow. Yeah, I had thought that they took that code out because as you can see, I can close that. We'll go ahead and stop this video call. Stop. And if we go to our private message between us with Tutorial Guy and JacobGKAU, I can open up our video call here with the Jitsi. It says started a video call. I can click that to join. And it should hopefully do the same thing. Yeah, no, see, this is what I thought it would do the first time. We'll go ahead and get out of here. All right, we'll open it up here first. Then we need a refresh. Video calling is still a little iffy. Alright, so it appears that that's not working from within Firefox. The Jitsi embed's not working from within Firefox, although the built-in Rocket.Chat version did. Very interesting. But as you can see, there is a dedicated video chat button here. There is a dedicated video chat button in our private groups, but then our public channels, there is no dedicated video chat button. All we can do is go into our general or our members list and start the old school built-in video calling, which that's the first time I've ever seen it work. And that's actually really nice because it doesn't open up a whole Jitsi instance. But yeah, I'll bet that being in there is an accident because the dedicated button for that is not on this side panel. Now, when you're in a private chat, you can also click this little key icon for an off-the-record conversation. We can click that. Tutorial guy wants to start off the record. Do you want to accept? Yes. So now there's a key up here. So we are off the record. So I can talk about how Jacob sucks, and I can talk about how Jacob's no good, and Jacob, the administrator of this, and you can see, oh, you can't see, but the notification I just got, the notification I got actually said encrypted message. Here, let me open up a screenshot utility, and let me try that again. Hi, let's see, hi. All right, so I'm gonna take a screenshot of this real quick. All right, but I did just take that screenshot, so it didn't actually say the message, it just said encrypted message. Very interesting, and these all have a green little key next to them. So then if Jacob starts to suspect, let's see, Jacob's still over here in our public chat room saying, why are you guys taking so long to respond? You can see here, it didn't ping me over here for whatever reason. But yeah, we can come over here. If Jacob starts getting suspicious, we can go ahead and, what does refresh keys do? I guess that just refreshes the encryption keys. If that's what that does, then that was very easy and very transparent. But yeah, we can go ahead and end off the record. Says the other guy ended the off the record conversation, and the messages are still here, which is interesting. So I wonder if there's even a way to get those to go away. I'm gonna log out, log back in, tutorial guy 98 and password. If I go to JacobGKAU now it's gone. So off the record messages only last as long as you are logged in. So I'll log back in here. All right, as you can see, when you first log in, you can actually set up a welcome room, and you just specify this in your server settings. Go administration, and is it under general? What's it under? There's lots of options here. You can see you can set your site name here. So it says Nerd on the Street up in the title bar. Language, that doesn't look like English, but we're in English, so we're fine. First channel after login. If you don't want to have this welcome screen, which went away just now, but I'll log out and log back in to show you it. If you don't want to have this login screen that says welcome, and I put this text here, it is customizable, still looking for it. But if you don't want that, you can go to your general settings and specify a default room for after people log in. I do want to let you know this force SSL button, if you think you might want to turn this on, you probably shouldn't. I'm using SSL with a Let's Encrypt certificate, but this button, I turned it on once, and then I had to rebuild my server. Or if I didn't have to rebuild the server, I had to do a lot of stuff to get it back. It was a while ago, but it was right when I was setting up SSL for Rocket.Chat. Obviously, you want to use encryption with this because you want your chats to be private, so definitely set SSL up. But if you're doing it through Apache or Nginx, that is a reverse proxy, so you should do the redirect there and not here, as it says right there in the description. So let's see here. Still looking, we've got a list of rooms here. Here's your permission system, so you can set different groups and what all they're allowed to do. Like archive room, only admins are allowed to archive the rooms, and the owners of rooms are allowed to archive them too, but just regular old people aren't allowed to. So you can set all kinds of stuff there. There are plenty of permissions. Logs, you can specify logging. You can take a look at your video conference, domain, so you can specify your own Jitsi server if you want. WebRTC is the built-in Rocket.Chat chatting, and that obviously worked pretty well just now. SMS, you can configure an SMS bridge if you're paying for one. Push notifications are pretty darn iffy, but you can enable or disable them. You can change the gateway if you've got one that's more reliable than the default Rocket.Chat one. Live chat is for the website integration. If you've got it's so that guests on your website can chat with support staff or something. File upload, you can configure your maximum upload size, and you can configure like Amazon S3 instance or Google Cloud Storage. I just have it set to upload to the server. Email, you can set your email preferences. I've got SMTP configured. Don't think I should open this. Nope, should not open that. But that's where you can set up SMTP if you've got a relay for your mail. Still clicking through here. Accounts, you can specify, people can set pictures for their accounts, information about the pictures, registration. Here's where you can turn registration on or off. Email verification if you need that or not. There are some sensitive settings down below that, such as a private registration URL that I may or may not have disabled, so I'm not going to scroll down further in there right now. Still looking for the welcome screen though. You can set up analytics through Google Analytics for whatever reason, but you can also use Piwik, which I've actually got a Piwik server. I don't track this right now, but I could if I wanted to, which is cool. We can configure bots. I don't have any bots. This internal HuBot is it's a built-in bot. I have it disabled, I think. Oh, well, yeah, I've got it disabled, obviously, because I clicked false here. There is an IRC bridge, which is really interesting. And eventually we might integrate this with nerdonthestreet.com because I know people there do want IRC functionality. Of course, you do need to be hosting or have a host to connect to for your IRC if you want to start that up. Layout, I think somewhere around here is where we want to be. Now, by default, you're going to get a Rocket.Chat logo down in the bottom left of your sidebar. You can see I've got my scroll wheel here in Firefox, and the scroll bar, it ends at the top of my channel list, but it actually ends below the bottom of what looks like the sidebar here. That is because by default, under that layout box, there is some stuff you can do. Custom CSS, you can actually customize just the CSS of this entire system. You can customize the colors of your system. Here we go. So home body, you can see this is what I've been looking for. So welcome to Knott's internal chat. Select a channel on the left sidebar. You can see I've got a paragraph with style, font weight, bold. That is this, and then I've got the regular paragraph for this. So you can actually write up whatever HTML you want to make whatever crazy homepage that you want, which is really cool. We've got terms of service you can set. I don't have it set because this is a private server, so there's not much point. There's login terms for when you create an account, privacy policy, and then here we've got side navigation footer. So I think that I removed the actual image file, but if we inspect element here, you'll see that this box here, sidebar footer, that does have a Rocket.Chat logo by default. I was going to put a Nerd on the Street logo down there or something, but I just never got around to it, but you can put a little logo or whatever down there, make it a link, do whatever you want with it. So yeah, quite a bit of customization going on here. You can change your fonts and everything, which is neat. Old colors, so here is this is what the colors used to look like. There was a Rocket.Chat update recently. The colors used to be much brighter, and I kind of liked the brighter colors. This does look more modern though, so I've left it with the new colors. But it's nice that they give you the old colors if you want to go and bring these up to the top here for colors. And then just minor user interface settings. So yeah, all kinds of settings. All kinds of settings. And then here we can actually view the logs on our server, which is kind of cool. And this is actually what it looks like as well when you start the server from the Linux terminal. It does display this stuff as well on the terminal. So we'll go ahead and exit out of that, and we're back at our, well, I'm at my room over here, or my private topic. I'll go ahead and go back to tutorial, and here's tutorial here. So yeah, that is what Rocket.Chat looks like. That's a pretty thorough just overview. Like I said, I don't want to click through all of our different rooms here because some of the stuff is sensitive. Sometimes we have conversations. Generally, here at Nerd on the Street, when we're in front of the camera, all bets are off. I'm liable to use whatever footage I capture. But when we're just talking behind the scenes, I generally want to respect people's privacy so they feel okay talking to me about whatever with regards to our content. So I don't want to click through all those. But yeah, as you can see, we do use this system. There's even more... Extra Life 2017, and there's some other different rooms that don't show up. I think RTX 2016 was a room there. So yeah, there's plenty of rooms. We have used this system quite a bit here at Nerd on the Street. And yeah, I think it's a great alternative to Slack. The only problem with it is notifications. The notifications are iffy on mobile. Desktop notifications work 100% fine. As long as you've got the Rocket.Chat app open, you will get desktop notifications. But on my Android phone, I get notifications sometimes, and then my friends with iOS devices tell me that they never get notifications. So, let's see, can we delete a room here? I actually don't know. I've never had to delete a room before. I don't know if we can actually delete a room. Oh, I guess we probably could if we go into administration, rooms, tutorial. Maybe we can't. I might have to just leave the room and pretend it doesn't exist anymore. Aside from notifications on mobile, it works beautifully. You can customize it a whole lot. There used to be like link parsing where when you pasted a link, it would try and go and find a thumbnail and a description for the website and do that. It was actually getting in the way in our rolling release channel because every week we post about 20 links, so it was taking up way too much space. I was able to go into Rocket.Chat and just disable the link parsing. So there's all kinds of customization you can do. It does look pretty darn sleek here, and yeah, I think it's a great alternative for teams looking to have a group messaging app such as Slack, but they don't want to give Slack all of their communication. Slack not only is the code proprietary, but you're also not hosting it. Whereas this thing, I know I've got it hosted on a virtual private server right now at Linode, but when Nerd on the Street eventually does get a dedicated office again, then I will throw this on a dedicated machine, or at least a local, some kind of local server so that I am physically in control of the messages as well. And this is open source. So yeah, it works pretty darn well. Formatting is pretty simple. Bold is inside of asterisks. Italics is inside of underscores. So you can see there. And that took a little bit of getting used to because that's different from, I think, Reddit. But the YouTube comment system does it this way. So yeah, once you get used to the bold and italic, and there's even buttons down here you can click for it. I mean, strike through is inside of tildes, but you don't even have to remember that. You can just click the button down here. There's inline code you can put. There's a button for multi-line quote, I think that is. Quote. Whoops. All right, well, that is a multi-line quote, or it would be if I typed multiple lines. And if you need more help, you can click this button and it opens up a KTEX wiki page here on GitHub, and this page has been moved. But then here you can see all the different things that you can do in Rocket.Chat in terms of formatting because it uses KTEX. But yeah, you can add files and paste them here. You can add emojis. These are the only two emojis I've ever used on my actual Rocket.Chat account, as the thumbs up and the heart. But there are all kinds of different emojis that you can use. These are custom emojis. We don't have any of those. You can customize the color of your facial emojis, I guess. And you can type the @ sign and notify people. You can also notify all people who have access to the room or have joined the room. And you can also notify only the people who are online in the room with here. You can also mention another channel. If I mention #podcast from here, then it'll just mention it, I guess. It won't actually give me a link to it. But yeah, that's Rocket.Chat. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. For now, I think that is a sufficient overview. So I'm Jacob Kaufman with Nerd on the Street. I'll see you guys later. Bye.